Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Flora and Ulysses. This is a Disney Plus original movie. It is from 2021. It's an hour and 37 minutes long, really about an hour and a half long flat, because the last 7 minutes are all foreign credits. But this is kind of a cool nerdy mix of a lot of different things. Yes, it's a family drama comedy, but it's also got a number of really specific Disney-owned references throughout. It's got a right from the start. It's got a huge Marvel connection. You get to see, you hear in voiceover Flora, the 10-year-old girl who is the star of this film, along with Ulysses, the squirrel, who's a completely CGI character. And you get to hear her talk about comic books, and you get to see her talk about how Silver Surfer is powerful but pretty much naked throughout his entire comic book. You get to see artwork she also mentions Wolverine, by the way, which, again, not officially part of the MCU yet, but you get to see a number of different Marvel comic book references. Later on, you see her in a comic shop manned by Bobby Moynihan. You might recognize him from Saturday Night Live and a number of different shows that have existed since then, but he plays a very obnoxious comic book guy, but very funny. She's selling her comics, and she has some DCs in there, along with some Marvels. So they're not afraid of just, putting Marvel stuff in there. The doorbell to their house plays the Imperial March, Darth Vader's theme. I'm not going to do it, but you know what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of pretty cool stuff. You see in that whole thing where she's talking about comics, you can see artwork by Jack Kirby, John Byrne. I think John Romita is in there, Senior is in there somewhere. But yeah, there's all sorts of pretty great comic book Star Wars. There's even a Pixar reference on her, I think on her backpack, there's a pin or a sticker or something of one of the little green aliens from Toy Story. So yeah, it's all over the place. Flora, by the way, is played by Matilda Lawler. I feel like I've seen her in a bunch of stuff, but probably not, because she's 10 and she's probably not been in too much stuff. I did check, she's on a show called Evil, and she's appeared here and there in different places. But the people that I really know well, this is a kind of a really stacked cast for a movie that I get the feeling could have been in the theaters, but it has that feeling of a 90s comedy without a 90s aesthetic. But it still has that kind of wacky physical comedy thing going that you could have seen Chris Farley in, but like a Tommy Boy, but it's not really Tommy Boy, of course. I know it's hard to explain that, but it's a comedy that's, it's all about line delivery, like David Spade, but then the physical comedy is Chris Farley. In this case, the line delivery comedy is done mainly by Matilda as Flora, but also by Ben Schwartz. You might know him. He plays Matilda, Flora's dad. You would know him as I can't remember the name of his character on Parks and Recreation. Once you see him, you know who I'm talking about. One of the skeevy twins from that show. And her mom is played by Allison Hannigan. Most of you will know her from Buffy the Vampire Slayer as Willow, American Pie. I'm not going to say the line. And most recently, How I Met Your Mother. So, yeah, it's just weird. I know it's weird just seeing Willow. She was a mom eventually on How I Met Your Mother, but still, I'm still getting used to Willow being a mom character on a show, in a movie. So, but either way, and there's also a character, by the way, this is based on a book by, where's her name? Kate DiCamillo. Kate DiCamillo is the writer of the book series. I don't know if this is a series or not, but it's at least one book featuring Flora and Ulysses. And honestly, the point of this entire thing is about a girl who is dealing with her parents' separation. I don't know if they really went into the details of why they were separating. Things just aren't working out right. Mom's a writer, a romance novel writer, and there's a lot of she has like a picture of Fabio on her desk for inspiration, and you get to see some of the covers of some of the books she's written in the past, where she's been a very successful writer. And Dad is a comic book creator, but nobody seems to want to buy his concepts. It's not necessarily how it always works in comics. You don't necessarily have to publish with a major publisher. You can make your own comics independently. You know, what are you gonna do? They know it fits the story. He's just not a success at all either. So I think he's the artist and writer of those comics, but Mom and Dad just aren't. Things aren't clicking. Dad has to go off and get a crappy job at an office supply store. Mom is struggling to write, and Flora is just miserable as a little girl who feels that her family's being torn apart. And when she suddenly comes upon this squirrel who loses a battle with a rogue vacuum cleaner in the yard, she discovers that maybe this squirrel may have received superpowers as a result. Is that the case? Well, you'll have to watch the movie to find out. But he is really intelligent. He does understand what she's saying, and somehow he can type on an old typewriter that Mom has sitting around. And he can spell, which says a lot more than most humans. He can communicate. Broken sentences, but he knows how to communicate that he's hungry. And he is hungry an awful lot. I mean, this is, like I said, this is a stacked deck. There's a number of different small roles filled by actors, comedic actors that at least I know really well, that I enjoy, who I've enjoyed watching over the last few years. Kate Micucci plays a waitress at a donut shop. She's from Oates and Garfunkel and Oates, the comedic music team. And she was also in Big Bang Theory and a bunch of other stuff, and you'd recognize her if you saw her. But you would also recognize Danny Pudi, who would play Abed on Community. He plays the bad guy in this. He is a very obsessive animal control officer who puts in some pretty strong effort into acquiring a squirrel that he assumes is rabid. And of course that's Ulysses, and yeah, that brings him into conflict with Flora, Ulysses, and her parents in a number of different adventures. Janine Garofalo shows up at one point as Alyssa Hannigan's editor. So there's just a lot of people in this that just come and go in a scene or two, and it's just kind of great. I kind of hope that there's a sequel to this. I don't know if that's the case or if it would ever happen, but like I said, this feels like a 90s comedy movie for families, not American Pie or Tommy Boy level comedy, but I mean, like, Danny Pudi does a lot of the big physical comedy in this. He gets to be the obnoxious bad guy who has to deal with squirrels and cats and other things like that. Again, all the animals in this digital. There's a digital cat in this and a digital squirrel, and well, actually many digital squirrels. But the point is, it's like a 90s film, but with today's digital effects budget, and they look pretty good. I mean, they don't feel forced into a scene or anything. They blend pretty well into it. You have to suspend disbelief and go, well, this is an intelligent squirrel that, can understand a little girl and has conscious understanding of what a superhero is. So, and also can type. Not a whole lot of words per minute, but still, he can type. It's actually, I mean, yeah, it's an adventure, fantasy, comedy, drama for all ages, and I think I really enjoyed it, and I think it's something that everybody can get a kick out of, especially if you're a geek like me and you kind of just want to see some actors, comedic actors, in a film together that you aren't expecting to see, and somehow, you know, get a pretty good movie out of it. So this is only the beginning of Matilda's career, I hope. She is pretty fantastic. She has a friend in this who is played by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. Oh, he was the voice of Pinocchio in the last Pinocchio movie, with the Disney one with Tom Hanks, not the Guillermo del Toro one. Anyway, he's a neighbor kid that is brought into this as kind of a cohort to Flora, and he has hysterical blindness or something, or like he's temporarily blind for reasons that we don't find out until later, but and they get a lot of comedy out of this blind kid. And he actually admits that, like, oh, we can, he's able to, he gets a lot of pratfall comedy out of him because he's blind, falling over fences, climbing through ducts and falling to the floor. He even admits that he's like, oh, I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty good at absorbing hard falls. So yeah, it's pretty, it's not something you'd expect or think that, oh, this might be a little offensive, but he's actually really funny in this. He seems extraneous at times, but I think he's a character from the book, so you kind of want to make use of him. But it's Flora Ulysses, dad and mom is the core of this. And like I said, it's a family comedy, and it's meant to evoke that kind of struggle that a lot of people might have when you see a family starting to fall apart because they're not communicating and they're not just doing things in a certain way that pulls them apart. And that's me rambling about that. So I highly recommend it. It's fun, it's cute, and it's like, again, I love seeing all the people I enjoy comedically just randomly thrown into this movie. Is casting, whoever's in charge of casting, great job. Just saying. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
419.
I already picked out tomorrow's. So 419 is what we're going to do 2 days from now. And tomorrow, because it's Friday, is a world premiere of something that I've been looking forward to for a little while, since I heard that it exists, and it's kind of strange. Okay, 419. Well, I hope it's a short, because I'm actually going to break the cycle now, because every other thing we've had has always been a movie, documentary, series, and then a short. Movie, short, movie, short. Like, it's been back and forth like that for a week or two. It's really weird. But we're breaking that because this one's going to be a documentary. Not mummies and sharks kind of thing. This is actually about a band that I enjoy, that I like, and some people don't like. People have strong feelings about this band one way or the other, and that's okay. This is a documentary about the evolution of the music of U2, hosted by David Letterman. This is Bono and the Edge, a sort of homecoming with Dave Letterman. So Dave Letterman is invited to Dublin, Ireland to talk to U2. It's a concert movie, but you get to see what Dublin, Ireland looks like. It's releasing on St. Patrick's Day. I don't even think they really celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Ireland the way we in America use it as an excuse to drink hard for a day. Like, we need another one. So that's what we're watching tomorrow. 419. I will tell you about it tomorrow night, and we'll go from there. So not 419, whatever 419 is. A Sort of Homecoming with Dave Letterman tomorrow on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.